Good afternoon, gamers. My name is KarQ. This is the Suggestions Box series where you guys send suggestions to the game, and then I take a look at them and see whether I like them, dislike them, or if it needs more cooking on the stainless steel frying pan. First one of the week is for Cassidy. I'd add a passive called Gunslinger. If 3 shots per clip are headshots, his reload speed is greatly reduced, rewarding for headshots and buffing his uptime. No. But the only reason why I say no is because he already has a reload on his combat role, which gives him a decent amount of uptime on his shots already, and this is an unnecessary buff to a hero that doesn't need it. Now, if Cassidy was a hero that didn't have an auto reload function on like the combat role or his Deadeye, for example, then doing a Gunslinger passive like this is a pretty good idea if that wasn't already in his kit, but because there's a mechanic to give him that, no need for it right now. The idea is okay, but maybe for like a different hero, another Gunslinger, and yeah. Suggestion, we all know Mercy needs some love. A lot of tweaks to be made. And one change I would like to see is instead of her res, her E, which is her res button, needs to apply to one character, which is her ally target. And for the X amount of time she like targets them, they cannot fall below 1 HP. I think this still keeps her guardian angel identity while giving her something proactive in her kit. You know what's strange is I actually find this suggestion weaker. I know you're saying Mercy needs love, and removing res and adding a proactive thing like this could sound good on paper like you suggested, but this makes her weaker. And the reason is because res is usually pulled off, but this one sounds like if you press it too early, kind of like I'm thinking of like Zillion from League of Legends. If you put it on a hero that really early on and they don't die, it's like it's pretty much a completely wasted ability. And then even if they do die, they probably just die right afterwards because they're the last one alive. Like it gives them invulnerability for a moment. Like let's say you're caught in a grab, your whole team wipes, but you press that thing onto that teammate who's sitting there in the grab and like taking all these hits, he's not dying, kind of like an immortality field. And then as soon as it expires, you're already still in a bad spot. You're going to die anyways. So I don't know. I think this is not it for Mercy. Suggestion, Venture generating shield HP with Burrow should actually be on ability activation instead of entering the ground. I can't count the number of times I press the button and the lingering hitbox give Venture just enough time to send me to the respawn screen. No, I don't think I think the value of Burrow should be when you get underground and the passive kicks in once the ability is like in. I don't think it should be used on activation, especially because there's a cast time animation. Like the ability isn't done yet and you can get Cassidy hindered or shattered and stuff out of it. And I think that's a weakness that Venture should have. Venture's already a pretty strong hero in a vacuum, was meta for a little bit, you know, map dependent. Still, I still think has some use cases. We actually saw a little Venture in the OWCS this weekend. I think Tree pulled them out in one of the matches with the burst with the Mauga, but yeah, no, I don't think this is something they need to do for Venture. Already a very strong and hard to kill hero. Suggestion, instead of the pig pen for Roadhog, I think they should add another interaction with the hook to his kit. Something like an option to hold it so you don't pull them immediately and the enemy is kind of tethered to you. Or maybe an option to give the enemy Junker Queen bleed effect at the cost of not bringing them closer. Like Pigpen's supposed to be like a 1-2 combo with like a setup, and there's more use cases than like hooking them straight to Pigpen. You can use it as like a zoning tool, cutting them off and stuff like that. Holding it so you don't pull them and they're tethered, but like does it come with them still being stunned the whole time, or is just the tether attached? Like this reminds me more and more of Queen, because you can keep the knife in them, wait before you pull, before it automatically detaches, and this kind of just overlaps with that sort of ability. And I think having the Pigpen is more unique and less homogenous than making Roadhog feel more like Queen. I think the opposite should be like Roadhog has the option, instead of pulling the target to him, you pull yourself to them. And I actually think, the more I think about it, it's not a terrible idea because it allows him to dynamically reposition. And if you make a bad choice of going in, then the whole team collapses and turns on you, then that's on you. But if you like selectively do it in the right spot, I think that's pretty cool to reposition, especially if you can like reach high ground in a sense like that. You hook that one person caught out, but they're on the high ground, you kill them, and now you're in a new position because you chose to do that versus you pulling them in. I think that would add more dynamic element to Roadhog, but like that's me speaking for the Roadhog player and making it cool, and everybody else is like, fuck Roadhog, unethical hero, and like making Roadhog more annoying to play against isn't necessarily what the broader community would want. But I don't even think it's like that bad. It makes Roadhog more fun to play, and like me as an Ana, I'm like, oh, he's pulling. I feel like more Roadhog's gonna make mistakes doing it for most ranks anyways, and it just makes it easier for me as an Ana to punish a bad hog doing a bad play like that. But in the high end, it makes him a bit more viable because Roadhog's pretty bad in my opinion in the high end and in his current state after the nerfs to like his take a breather, because he was like okay for a bit after the rework when he was giga tanky, but right now he's kind of just a feeder. Suggestion: there should be a minimum damage threshold to earn an elimination, something like 50 to 70 damage or a percentage of a character's health pool. This way, the scoreboard will be a bit more accurate, and more players might stop having such a big ego for the top elims by tickling everyone for 5 HP, but keep the kill for final blows no matter the damage. Also, add a damage boost, for example, Mercy, Zen, Anna, Bap, and Juno stat in the scoreboard. Alternative suggestion is like any sort of damage or like contribution to a kill is added to the assist column, and eliminations or kills should only be final blows like every other game. If you confirm the kill, that's your kill. But Overwatch already started with eliminations being a combination of both kills and like touching the enemy for a single point of HP for an assist, that it's already pretty much locked in. A better use would be in the scoreboard that you actually have like an option where you can generally see the final blows as a toggleable, so you can see who's actually like getting the last hits. I think that would be a bit more meaningful, but at the end of the day, any scoreboard sallies, people having big egos like this, are probably using that as a cope mechanism. Don't worry about what they think. You focus on your own play. But, you know, the idea of adding this isn't necessarily bad, but I think just adding the final blow column itself and making elims truly like you killed them is probably the better approach. Okay, suggestion: rather than adding adaptive shields, giving insane health to Wrecking Ball, make it less health, but make it work similar to other shields where it could block things like hack and sleep for 1 second after activating it like a parry. So instead of adaptive shields being a shield button, it's a parry button. Now this was a suggestion I actually saw from Spylo and a couple of other people cooking up Wrecking Ball rework ideas. Instead of just making him a meat shield with giant HP, make him more interactive with parry. I actually like that idea, but I'm worried about Wrecking Ball's vulnerability if he does that. I think it would actually make him worse at first, but then the top players would capitalize on it and make use of it pretty well, especially if they parry the right moves. Now, does the parry just like stop it from hitting Wrecking Ball, but it doesn't deflect it back at them, right? So if like a hack is about to activate and you parry the button, you become invulnerable, the hack just dissipates, right? Maybe, yes. If that's the case, then yes, I actually like this quite a bit. They probably have to tweak other things, but I would be curious to see this experimented with, maybe in like custom arcade mode or like April Fool's mode or something like that. Suggestion: if lever penalties have to stay as they are for quick play, at least don't penalize. I say penalize as a Canadian, by the way. Everybody makes fun of me for saying that. Some people say penalize because penalty, blah, 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 but my whole life people have said penalize, so I just say penalize and ha 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 ha, peen. For example, leaving after finishing round 1 on Koth. The matchmaker has plenty of time to find a new player before any gameplay happens. Well, that's not guaranteed. The limit should probably be about 10 or 15 seconds before the round starts. But why are you leaving after round 1 of like, you're likely leaving after losing? It just kind of incentivizes people, like if the moment they lose round 1 on Koth, they never want to play again. And like people hate backfilling in general. Like, I don't know, just play through the game. And I don't even think the penalty is that bad. Like if you're queuing for quick play, this shit is 10 minutes, man, at most. If you're leaving, you can't even like go through a game. Like there's way worse games like League or Dota where you have to sit for like a grueling 30 or 40 minute loss. This is a 10-minute quick play game. The penalty's not even that bad. If you can't suck it up, I don't know. I've never been a fan of people like loosening the quick play penalty stuff. I know people have obligations and real life things, so like it shouldn't be as severe, but I'm like, don't queue up if you have things that are coming up. This is not even a big time investment for a game like this. So for me, I don't think you should be allowed to leave. It breeds like a bad habit of people just preemptively leaving and then adding more backfillers in the queue. I don't want to queue quick play and be a backfiller, like ever. It's just not fun for the people who want to play a real match or a full match. If you queue up and you're in a game, you go through the whole game. It's freaking Koth, man. It's short, so no. Learn to suck up the losses to appreciate the wins a bit more instead of just giving up and leaving. Suggestion: make Flashpoint maps smaller. Decreasing map size should improve the travel time and hopefully increase encounter rates as well. Giving a slight speed boost out of spawn is a lazy way to tackle the issue, and quite frankly is still the issue. It's like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound. It's not going to fix the problem. Just cut the map fluff. Don't get me wrong, they're absolutely beautiful maps, but half the map still isn't really used for anything though. I agree, but there's no way in hell they're doing it because the spacing and the alignment and everything, that is a big undertaking and a big task. Do you see how long it took for them to just add a couple of modifications to some of the old maps like Nambani and Dorado? There's a lot of balancing and like the times from spawns to the points that it just shifts the entire dynamic of that Flashpoint in general. Like, I think this idea would have been good if it was like still in the earlier iteration of Flashpoint, so it actually encourages people to fight in the in-between areas. But like, I think it's too late, to be honest with you. Like, that is a complete rework. You have to just scrap the whole goddamn map because it's not as easy as just like adding staircases to stuff. You're changing like the whole size of the map. Like, what do you eliminate? The pathways change, adding more work than what's necessary. As good as the idea is, like, I don't think it's feasible. And honestly, I like Flashpoint, except a couple of problematic points, which is fixable. Like, for example, I think Saravasa is pretty good. I think New Junk City's first point needs a bit more work, and they need to open up the rooms a bit more and make it more like a bigger incentive to actually like take the wider angles. People who go underneath usually are in trouble because it's top looking down, or sorry, it's on low ground. Just open up that first room with the pillar and stuff, and I think that'd be a start. But for now, I don't like this. I think it's fine, and it's just too much to ask. Suggestion: Doom should have a rising uppercut back in the reload input, since reload button is useless on Doomfist, and making a rising uppercut and seismic slam share the cooldown like Zarya's bubble. This way, both abilities could coexist at the same time and not break balance, giving Doom more choices without the possibility of using both abilities at the same time. Like, the whole point of removing rising uppercut is because it's a big DPS button as well, and it's displacement. I think Doom already has a lot of displacement with his rocket punch and an empowered punch. I low-key think tank Doom is insane. Not everybody agrees. All the Doom mains think like DPS Doom is a lot better and all that stuff. Not all, but a lot of them. And I see why, because people are very used to like one-shotting people with old Doom. And if you can't do that on tank, it doesn't feel as good. But I still think tank Doom, apart from a couple of metas and other tanks being stronger, he's actually like pretty damn good. And I think the only like pro player who agrees with me is Dante, and every time I speak to him, he's like, dude, tank Doom is actually such an insane hero. And he's always been an advocate for like saying like this hero's insane. In any case, I don't think it's necessary to add that back. I think with the 6v6 playtest coming up, just bring back the old DPS Doom in that mode, and I think that's the happy middle ground. I think tank Doom is in a pretty good spot. Like, they did a pretty good job keeping like the identity of being a fast mobile hero. And I know you have the choice uppercut and slam, but if you add uppercut back, like, he just has too many good options. I think you'd have to nerf and make seismic slam operate like it used to, because right now seismic operates and like goes further than Overwatch 1's version. Overwatch 1's seismic slam was very loopy, and the fast one was pretty slow. Like, slam is already pretty damn fast, and it's cancelable with all the other abilities, where like you get some crazy momentum if you cancel with other stuff. So just add DPS Doom back for the other mode and call it a day. Some shop suggestions. Number one, since Blizzard loves selling skins and everyone loves buying them just as much, sarcasm, we should be able to change the map when viewing things in the shop, hero gallery, and when trying out skins. In addition, it'd be cool to be able to select a skin without purchasing it and view the other shop items with it, like the emotes with it, the highlight intros, the victory poses. Right now, you can only view them with the skins that you own, and I know a bunch of skins actually change how some of them work. For example, Vengeance Mercy has an artillery strike in the rescue run intro, but anyone who doesn't have the skin wouldn't have known that. There are also a few purchasable voice lines that change for certain skins. Yeah, quality of life things like that to help people with their purchases. I'm down for that. I have nothing against this one, so yes. Not much to add. Okay, this one's a meme one. Suggestion: remove every hero except Soldier 76. Give them the option to swap weapons to Mercy's pistol. We can call it Overwatch Duty. Very funny. Suggestion: remove Symmetra's turrets and replace it with her old moving shield. Compensate with slightly better alternate fire, please. Remove the turrets? Isn't that like a big part of her shtick? Sim is a DPS hero, and just throwing up a barrier, like, kind of aligned with the old idea of being a support hero because it's utility. There's just, this hero just ends up being like a big utility DPS. Like, it doesn't really fit the slot anymore if you lose like the like the damage output from the turrets in conjunction with the rest of your kit. Nah, I'm gonna say no. I think we still need to cook with Sim. A lot of Sim mains aren't happy with the way she is. I'm not a Sim main. She's like, by nature, by her design, she's always going to be a bit of a niche hero. I've read some suggestions on Reddit that seem to like push her in a direction that I like better, because like, I guess the general takeaway is that Sim does a little bit of everything, but she's not great at one thing. Like, back then, right, her car wash, all the turrets were very powerful, but now the turrets are kind of like meh. Her beam primary fire was stronger. It's been nerfed now. It's a little meh. It's good obviously if you can get it rolling, but getting it rolling is a task in itself. Then her alternate fire poke is like meh, because everybody has more 250 HP, so you can't two-tap people anymore, so that's meh. Turrets meh. Primary fire meh. Ultimates, okay, it's meh. Teleporter, meh. Mostly used to like move people around strategically. So she's not like great at one particular thing. Like, when you look at most DPS heroes, like, they're good at one thing usually, and that's like why you choose them. You pick Cassidy, he's the close range dueler and hit scan to help deal with like Doomfist Ball. Anybody who comes close to you with the hinder, and then he's a hit scan, be reliable damage. He does that one thing very well, but he's not, you know, very mobile. And you have like Tracer, who's very mobile, and like, she's very good at annoying people. Like, what's Sim really good at? You know, she has like close range damage, long range damage, annoying sentry stuff, and like movement. So she does everything, but not one thing in particular that's so good that she's like picked in this specific comp. She's just like a generalist builder. And I guess her one slot is obviously control and like very like short range maps, because that plays more into one of the strengths, which is the beam and the sentry setup. But like, you know what I mean? Suggestion, last one. Suggestion: players should be able to vote on which hero gets a mythic skin in the near future from a set list from Blizzard, and maybe this could incentivize players to be more active in the Overwatch community. Eventually, all the heroes on the list would get a mythic skin. The voting would prioritize which hero skin will be released first. Yes, but then favorites will go into play, and like the problem is like by like season 40, then the least popular heroes from the choice will end up being chosen. We're already on season 14. We're like a third of the way through. In like 5 or 6 years, we're gonna cover all the heroes currently. And then with the new heroes coming out, it might take like 6 or 7 years to catch up. This won't be a problem then when every hero has a mythic, but it ends up just being a popularity contest. Like some definitely need more love than others, especially if they are lacking in the other skin departments. But if you vote for a mythic, I'm pretty sure that you won't see it for many seasons later. So you're not gonna vote for the next season one, because these mythics take like months. So they're like months and months, maybe a year ahead of schedule. Like they have it already lined up. Like if you vote like we want Ramattra one next season, no way they can make it the whole thing, art, visuals, 2D sketch, 3D, render, voice lines, make it cool, make it function, all in like a 9-week period. The voting would not really like see results that quickly, which would make people be like, what are we voting for? They're gonna forget they voted for it a year ago. So yeah. If they did it from the start so they can get 1 year ahead and get the order right, yeah, but like now it's too late. Okay, we're already pretty deep in. I think that's all I'm gonna do for suggestions this week. Leave some more in the comments. I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.